Hello and welcome to Spanish 3. My name is Elizabeth Bamer and I will be your instructor for this course. Alexa, it's great to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you more throughout this semester. You are the only student enrolled in this course, so I'm going to make this really personalized for you, but we're still going to structure the whole course as if there were more students in it. But I just wanted to introduce myself specifically to you, Alexa, and I'm just going to take us through how I've set up the course. I'm going to do this entire video in English, but I'll try to communicate with you as much as possible in the future in Spanish. So when you open up your Moodle, you'll get to the homepage, Spanish 3, Semester 1. Here is the announcement section. And in the announcement section, I'll post a weekly announcement on Monday morning listing all of your activities that I want you to complete that week. And so look for those announcements every Monday. Then in the instructor's office forum, I will hold an office hour every Thursday at 12 p.m. Central Time, or if that doesn't work for you, I'm happy to meet with you at another time. I'm holding this office hour kind of open to all of my other classes that I'm teaching right now. So there might be other students in my office, my Zoom meeting, when you come in. So if you want to set up an individual one-on-one time to meet, I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to meet with you in the evening or during the day. You can always call or text me. This is a Google Voice number, and I'll come back to that at a moment. Or you can always email me or message me through Moodle. So lots of ways to get a hold of me. This is our welcome activity discussion. And normally we would have several students in the class where we would build this community and getting to know each other. But for you, I still want you to do this. Alexa, tell me who you are, where you're from, why are you taking Spanish 3? Where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years? Maybe that includes where you want to go to college or what career, or if you want to have a family, and then what your favorite Bible verse is. And I'll start a little bit. So like I mentioned, my name's Elizabeth Bamer. I go by Beth. And I live with my husband, Matt Bamer, who's a WELS missionary in Quito, Ecuador. So we're currently in South America. We have 4 young children, ages 9 to 2. We love living in Ecuador, and that's partly the reason why I'm teaching Spanish 3. We're living in a Spanish culture right now. Our kids are all growing up bilingual. So that is partly why I am here as your instructor to teach Spanish 3. We love living here, and I'm sure I will bring aspects of living in South America and Ecuador into the course this year. I have a master's degree in biology, so I studied Spanish in college. My husband and I lived in Mexico and then Los Angeles at a Hispanic congregation, and we've been in Ecuador now for almost 4 years. I graduated from Bethany Lutheran College, and then I got a master's degree from Minnesota State University in Mankato, and I'm currently enrolled in a PhD program looking at leadership studies in education. So that's a little bit about me. My favorite Bible verse is from the Great Commission about going and making disciples of all nations, which has almost become a mission statement for our family, living in the States or abroad. And then surely I am with you always, even to the very end of the age. So just an encouragement for you that Jesus is always with you, both today, in your courses that you're taking this year, and after high school, when whatever you decide to do. So that's a little bit about me, Alexa. I'm in Central Time, so I'm in the same time zone as the Midwest. I'm not sure where you're located. I will know that soon. And then for the other half of the year, I'm in Eastern Time because we're located right on the equator in Quito. We never actually change time zones. So we're either in Central Time or Eastern Time for the other half of the year. So that number that I gave you, that's available in that instructor's office forum. And just in the opening information, that's a Google Voice number, and you can text that or call that without any additional charges because it just uses the internet to connect to me. So it's just a Google Voice number. All right, and then a general purpose forum, you can go there to ask any individual questions, but I think since it's just you and me, you can ask me individual questions as well. Under general course information, this is where I'll post this welcome video that I'm recording. Here is the course syllabus, the discussion rubric, and then the curriculum guide. Let me pull up the course syllabus. This is from the Amazing Grace website. In Spanish 3, by now you've had a pretty good base in Spanish from your Spanish 1 and 2 teacher. I actually Side note, I lived with Amy Springborn in the Dominican Republic for a year. We both were down there at the same time teaching at the same school. So I know Senora Springborn very well, and I reached out with her. So it's fun that you had her for your opening Spanish classes. In terms of course outcomes, I structure this course, even though it's online, you'll listen and read 2 articles, you'll speak Spanish, you'll write Spanish, and you'll read Spanish. So we're going to try to focus on kind of those 4 key concepts of learning the language: listening and understanding, speaking, reading, and writing. And you can see I have a little visitor right here. We have not started school yet. And you can see the standards for Spanish class and for all foreign languages taken from this website. I go by the national standards for foreign language. And then here's the course outline. Again, this is the first time Amazing Grace has done Spanish 3. So this is course outline, and dates are subject to change. We'll try to get through the first 3 units in your textbook this semester 1. And in semester 2, we'll try to get through the next 3 units in your textbook. We're not going to get through all the units in your textbook. It's usually impossible to do that. Here is the textbook that we have. What Amazing Grace has done is they've purchased hard copies of the textbook, but I'm giving you a PDF version of the textbook free of charge. If you want to purchase your own hard copy, you're able to do that, or I'll show you what that PDF looks like. In terms of required software, everything will be done using Moodle. I might look at a couple other different applications in terms of conversation, or we'll look into ways that you and I can engage in conversation in Spanish, because a lot of learning the language is speaking it. So I have you recording yourself speaking into Moodle. So you'll need a computer with a microphone, and then I'm looking at ways to introduce other ways of conversing. So that's a little bit of the syllabus. You can go ahead and open up the curriculum guide and assignment schedule. Many of your assignments will be the same every week, where I have reading articles, completing daily notes, like writing it, speaking it, and then there'll be a quiz or a test every week, and that'll be laid out here in the curriculum map, and then also in Moodle. The discussion rubric, so every week I have you read an article and answer some questions, and then respond to 2 classmates or the instructor each week. And this, in terms of just you and me being in this course, it'll be just conversation and discussion, like forums, online between you and me. And maybe in the future, we'll have more students to discuss that with. So that's a little bit of the discussion rubric. And then I'll take you through how I organize every week. So every week is organized into a module. So you'll notice, if you're looking at all the modules, you can see that every module has a topic and goes by the textbook up through module 16. And then there's an end of semester course survey. And each module corresponds to a week in the semester. So for example, this first week goes Tuesday, August 27th to Sunday, September 1st. Moving forward, all modules and all weeks start on a Monday morning, and all of your assignments due for that week end and are due on a Sunday at midnight. Because this is an online class, and already, a lot of online classes require a lot of dedication, self-starting, perseverance by the individual student. Because we aren't meeting necessarily synchronously every day, I give you your assignments and work to work on, including recorded videos and lectures to watch. And then you'll work through that material and activity on your own, making sure that you're completing all of your assignments by the due date, Sunday at midnight. So let's jump into this first module. And again, I keep, after this first week, you'll notice your assignments will be very similar every week. And I'll kind of show you now how I structure this. So here's a link to the textbook, the Lección Preliminar. And this is the first kind of unit that we're covering in your textbook. And here it's 93 pages long, because we're going to take 2 or 3 weeks to get through it. And it goes through the Estados Unidos, so all kind of information related to the United States. And the tema is Una Vida Ocupada, meaning that we're going through everything that makes your life busy. So this first part that I have us going through, you'll talk about mis amigos y yo. That's kind of the first kind of lesson for this week that you'll go through. I have you read and record yourself. reading this El Mundo de Lucia from page 2, página 2 de the textbook. So I have you read this for one of your assignments just to practice speaking Spanish. And then you go on, and what I want you to do is I want you to read through the textbook pages every week and the lessons that we get through. The escuchar, there are parts in the textbook that ask you to listen to something, but that's based on if we had the whole textbook available. So don't worry about necessarily doing all of that. I have other articles for you to listen to. But what it does do is it reviews verbs, and it gives you some activities to do on your own that you can practice reviewing verbs like gustar, present tense, pronunciaciones. And then the first week is just amigos y yo. So if we go back to the Spanish part, you'll notice that in your textbook, I'm just asking you to get through in the lección preliminar, just going through the mis amigos y yo section. So there's the link to the textbook, and every week I give you that link and then tell you kind of what pages to look through. Then the guided notes for Lección Preliminar, I always give you some guided notes to go through. And for the Lección Preliminar, it's a Word document that has list of vocabulary words. And then it has spaces for you to write notes. And normally these are spaces for you to conjugate and show me how you conjugate different verb endings like AR, ER, and IR, and then give me an example. O to UE, boot verbs, E to IE, and E to I. And then for this first week, I just want you to fill out the first 6 pages. This is for me to get an idea of what you remember from Spanish 1 and 2. At the end, this practica section, I want you to specifically write these phrases in Spanish. And I'll show you some guided lectures where I take you through this information as well. So I give you the notes where you will fill in the notes as kind of some guided readings and guided studies as you're going through that. And the first 2 pages, the vocabulario, what I want you to do for this is, we're going to spend about 2 or I think 3 weeks in the Lección Preliminar. This is our first unit. But I want you to start filling out these notes by writing a sentence or an example with each one of these vocabulary verbs. So this first week, I ask you to fill out the first 6 pages. But the first 2 pages are vocabulary, and I don't expect you to fill out examples for each, but I want to start to see you filling out examples of writing a sentence with this vocabulary word in it. So those are the notes that I provide you for each unit. And again, it'll take us several weeks to get through this first unit. I think we spend 3 modules and 3 weeks in that first textbook file I sent you, the Lección Preliminar, and that first big note file. Then I give you an audio of the vocab. This pulls up an MP3 audio recording of the vocab, just reading through those vocabulary words. So you get to listen to those vocabulary words. Then under these links, present tense, ser versus gustar, verbs like gustar, this opens up mini lectures for you to watch on these kind of topics that we go over this week. So they're all between 5 to 10 minutes long, not very lengthy, but I want you to watch these videos every week, and because they will help you and guide you through that week's material in the textbook and in your notes. So that is kind of how I'm teaching you. It's these recorded videos of these specific topics. So these are the learning materials you'll use for week 1, module 1, and I always provide you with the learning materials, and then I always provide you with the activities and assessments. So first, you work your way through the learning materials, downloading the notes, working your way through the textbook, listening to the audio of the vocab to start to get pronunciation, and then watching really 3 or 4 short lecture videos on the topic. Each class, I can't remember, requires about 40 to 90 minutes of work to do every day or 3 or 4 times a week. So I'm trying to fulfill that quota and give you enough to do, but I don't want to overwhelm you. So please constantly be telling me if this seems like a lot. Then under activities and assessments, you'll notice I'll always have a read it Module 1 discussion forum, where you will read an article where I link. The first one is Insectos que se comen. This is specifically about the gastronomía mexicana, and it gives you a really short article, but it also gives you the option to listen to it. So I would encourage you to read the article and listen to it. And then this will be every week. There'll be several, maybe one to three questions to answer about the article in Spanish. That is your initial post answering those questions. And then your reply post will be replying just to me about what we talked about and what the article was about. So I will be engaging with you in this discussion throughout the week. Normally we would have more students engaging in the discussion, but because it's just you and me, you and I will be, this is how we will engage in kind of our weekly meetings. I ask that you respond. So I want you to listen and read to that article and post an initial post by at least Wednesday at midnight Central Time, and then to reply to 2 posts by Sunday at midnight for that week. So there's my read it portion, reading Spanish, speaking Spanish, writing it, and then a quiz or testing. So that's your reading it module and discussion forum. Write it. This is when I want you to submit the Lección Preliminar notes, but just pages 1 to 6. I need to edit that. Submit pages 1 to 6 from that document to the guided notes for Lección Preliminar. And you can upload a file here. And then I think your next assignment is speaking it. I want to hear you speaking Spanish, and you can submit an audio recording of yourself reading through page 2 in your textbook where it says El Mundo de Lucia. So that is here. Go to page 2 of your textbook. What I want you to do is just record yourself speaking this entire pájaro where it says El Mundo de Lucia. So you would say, 7 de septiembre, estoy en una clase avanzada de ciencias y me gusta mucho, pero mañana vamos a hacer una excursión de 2 días al campo y no quiero ir. 10 de septiembre, tengo una nueva cámara digital, me gusta mucho tomar fotos. Aquí hay algunas fotos de la excursión. Aquí acampamos. Yo, ¿quién soy? Mi nombre es Lucia, and so forth. So I want you to read through this entire section where it says El Mundo de Lucia and just record yourself. And I'm not expecting perfection. I'm not grading you on perfection. I'm just grading to see that you've read through this, you're practicing it, and it's a way that I can tell that you're speaking Spanish that week. All right. So I think that takes us through everything. And then every week you'll have a quiz or a test. When we're getting through a unit, you'll just have quizzes on that particular portion. And then when we're at the end of a unit, you'll have a test on the entire unit. And those tests and quizzes will all be done in Moodle or Google Forms. And we'll talk more about that as the tests and quizzes come forward. I think I'm going to pause there because I've given a lot of information to you, Alexa. I'm looking forward to working with you. We'll be in touch. I will post probably weekly videos like this, along with an announcement to kind of guide you through that week's activities. And as usual, let me know if you have any questions, and take care. God's blessings.